Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. Today I am going to show you how to make this book fold card. Before I start, I am going to tell you that this is not my design. I found this online on a lovely lady's blog called Becky's Place. She has an A to Z of all different folds, and I found this one on here. So thank you to her blog and her for putting that on there. But I thought it looked amazing. Okay. So we are going to use, to create this, I'm going to use the Creative Expressions Paper Cuts Collection, the Jasmine Edger, to create the topper. The little Celebrate die comes from this first edition set of sentiments. Really lovely little sentiment. You will need, and my card's got a bit marked there, you will need a piece of card to make the book that is only coloured on one side so that you get the white showing. So you need, anything that is coated or coloured on one side and the other side is white or cream, like a book. And then for the cover for this particular one, I used sheet of paper. It was this particular one here from the Crafter's Companion, Nature's Garden, Woodland Friends sheets. Beautiful colours in here. We're going to do a bit of inking as well, and I'll tell you about that a bit later. So I'm going to start with the card. Now, if you when I looked on Becky's blog, the measurements on her blog make a book card this size, but it wasn't big enough for what I wanted. So I have changed the measurements, but the method is still the same if you happen to go over there to have a look. Okay, so what I have done is I've taken a piece of A4. This is Centura Pearl. It's from the Precious Metals set. And I have cut the A4 down to 7 3/4. So I literally just cut a strip off the end of it. So now we need to do some scoring. And I've got the measurements written down so I don't make a mistake. So we're just going to make 2 score lines on this. We are going to score. Get the score tool out. Here we go. We're going to score at 5 7/8. So I butted it up here. 5 7/8. And that's the one that you're going to fold on. And the next one is the decorative one that creates this illusion of the spine, because this is totally flat. And that needs to be, if I recall rightly, 3/4 of an inch more. Now, my head wasn't working properly, so 3/4 of an inch on the board is 6 things along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 5/8. Yeah, that's what I've written. So this one here, this one I've just done, is not to be folded. This is the one that we're going to fold, and that's all the scoring you need to do. Okay, so I'll put the scoreboard away. And I'm going to get my bone folder. And I'm going to go, whoa, she says, having now bent on that line, but just ignore that. So I'm going to score it, but then I am going to open it back out, because we now have to cut a piece out here. And so what you need to do is you need to measure 3/4 of an inch down. Okay, so I'm going to put on my little mat. In fact, we can start over here. 3/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to put a little mark. And I'm going to get my trimmer, and you can do this with a craft knife if you prefer. Excuse me. And you are going to cut very carefully. I'll tell you what I think I might do, just because it's easier to have the bulk of the card that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look where I've made that mark. I'm going to do it on the other side. I'm going to make a mark on the other side, 3/4. That way, now I can put my piece of card in and I can see it, and I'm not having all this bit hanging over and not sure whether I've lined it up right. Now, what you need to do is to cut no further than here. So what I tend to do, because if you've got a guillotine cutter like this, it can be quite deceiving as to where the blade has got to. So do it slowly and lift it. If you've got one of the other trimmers, the ones that slide along, you've probably got more control. So very, very carefully. And if you're a little bit worried, like I always am, I stop a little bit before and then I can get my scissors on it. Okay. Use the bang in there. So I'm literally now just going to finish cutting that up just as far as that score line there. Okay. Now, you now need to draw a curve here. And I found the best thing was a watercolour ink bottle. Whatever you've got that's kind of smallish. And I'm going to place it on here so that I can it's roughly touching there and roughly touching the corner there. Doesn't need to be exact, and I'm going to draw around it. So I now have a curve that I can follow. Okay. And I'm going to cut that out. And this is the first part of creating this illusion of there being a 3D object here. So you can see this is creating the top of our book here. Now this bit is important. Do not throw it away. Okay, because we now need to use this. And first of all, we're going to use it to draw our curve there, because we need to make sure all those little bits reflect each other. Again, that's helping with the 3D feeling. Okay. Then again, down at the bottom, you need to do exactly the same at the bottom. Around it, and remember you need to cut through both layers this time, because this is the base of the spine of the book. And there's our book. I'll show you how to do the pages at the end. Okay, so we have our base card made. It is so effective. Actually, it's really quite straightforward. So the next bit to do then is to create the topper. Now, this topper would work perfectly well if you don't have, like I have a big oval die. If you don't have a big oval die, don't worry. You can just do it on a rectangle. It's not an issue. I just thought it would be nice to do it on an oval. Okay, so I have cut an oval out of the same centre of pearl, and I am now going to grab my die. And now what I've done, because obviously when you've got the die this way up, you can see here is the sort of edge cutting line, and this is where the other edge cutting line is. But as soon as you turn it over, you can't see that. So what I've done is with a Sharpie, I've just marked where those two bits, because it will just help you, not just on this project, but on any project that you do with it, if you want that bit to be in a straight line. I think when I did this originally, I didn't have this done, and it's slightly off, but I'm not too bothered. So you can see that I am just lining it up roughly. I'm using the grid on my mat to roughly put this. So I've got this line here and the same line here, so that they are in line. And I am going to get some tape. Excuse me. And I'm going to fix this down. Now I am only going to put tape on this side. The reason being, this part of the card will be discarded. It's the bit that comes out after we've cut. So I'm quite happy to sort of put heavily a lot of tape on that side. What I don't want to do is to mark the centre of pearl if I can avoid it. Okay, so I have taped it to the board. That's no good. So I have my cutting plate. I'm going to put my die in, and I have my plastic shim, my magnetic, and I have my other board. Okay, so I'm going to put this through my machine, and it will cut this part of the topper here. Now, the beauty of this card design is that if you know there's something specific that the person you're sending it to likes, then you can make the book fit the theme. So if they're into football, you could use football papers, football dies. Yeah, it can be anything that you want it to be. So here we go. Take that out. And you can see it's already popping away here where it's not been fixed in. Oh, bits coming out. Oh. And can you see there's just a faint mark on there because of the pressure, which is why I didn't want to put the tape on the bit that we are going to be keeping. So, pull that bit of tape off too. Okay, I'm going to release this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my brush before I go any further, and I'm going to give it a good old go through. The reason I'm being careful with some very, very delicate little bits on this die, and I don't want to just be yanking them out. I mean, making a very big meal of that. Okay. Now, there are some big bits in between. Make sure that none of them have got caught. And we don't need this little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and cut up to there. And take my scissors and cut to there. And then this bit will release, leaving me with my my cut part here. I just want my pokey tool just to get rid of the last few bits. These bits always get caught. It's not that they've not cut, they just get caught on the little curly round bits. There we go, that's out. And that bit. Okay, so that's that bit ready for our top. Now, move that out of the way. I'll clean that in a minute. Okay, right. So I decided to use the woodland paper to make it kind of like almost a little bit naturey to go with the die. Just bear with me, I'll put my pack of stuff that I was talking to you. Oh, here it's right under my elbow. So what I've done is I've cut some white stamping card to fit over the front. I've cut a piece of the paper to go at the back. I've cut exactly the same size oval out of white stamping card. And I've cut the Celebrate die. This is the die. It's a lovely little tag. Is it a tag? Little banner die. And I'm rather loving it at the moment because it's something a little bit different. I've cut with those. So now you will notice that I have inked this, and what happened was a little bit of a happy accident because the colour, I'm quite pleased with the colour and the way it matches that, but that wasn't what I was going for. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a mat, an inking mat. Put on here. I had decided that speckled egg was a good match for this paper here. And so I thought, right, I'll go with the speckled egg. And because I was prepping a lot of things at the time, I forgot that on my mat, I had ripe persimmon. It was all over my mat. And I started blending onto this oval with the speckled egg, forgetting the ripe persimmon was there, and it was mixing and coming on. So that's why I've managed to get this kind of brownish colour, which tones not more quite nicely with the Centaurus. So we're going to do the same, and I'll show you exactly how I did it. Okay, so ripe persimmon and speckled egg. So literally what had happened is I'd been inking something else, and there literally just was ink on my mat. Okay, like that. And I had come along with my speckled egg on my brush and started doing this. And so it was bringing in, can you see, the orange as well. And it got on my brush, which I'm not too bothered about. It's really good that it doesn't transfer. It transfers onto the brush, but it doesn't really transfer onto the ink pad. So let's get a bit more blue on that one. So that's how I ended up with the colour that I've got there, because there is no ink that is that colour. It just happened. And I thought, oh, I quite like that. So I've gone with it. It's not a case of blending them on the card. It's a case of one is on the mat and you're just sort of bringing it onto the piece of card with the other colour. And then when I've done, I am gonna clean my mat this time. I remember. I think it gives it probably a warmer tone than perhaps just using the speckled egg would have done. As they say, we have these, excuse me, these happy accidents in crafting. Excuse me. Okay, so I also inked the edge of this in the same way. So I literally just went around the edge of this bit just to tone it in. Okay, now I didn't create a spine piece or this one. I'm going to show you how you can do it if I can find a strip of paper. But I chose just to use the Celebrate dies. Okay, so let's put those there for the moment. We'll put the inks there. And I will clean my mat shortly. I'm going to take the mat down. Right, okay. If you want to make... Do you remember at the beginning when I said don't lose that piece because you're going to need it? Here we go. Right. If you want to create a border, like a strip for the spine, then you just cut yourself a strip. It could be a matching paper, whatever. You just need this again, because all you need to cut matching the matching curves. Everything needs to look curved in the same way. So we're going to cut that bit first before I decide where the second bit's going. I'm not actually going to use this. I just wanted to show you. So that would go there, and then you would decide where you want the bottom part. So we've got that here. So I would draw my curve there and cut. Yeah. So that's showing you if you want to create a matching spine or your book, that's how you do it. It's that simple. It's nothing major. I decided I didn't want to. I originally made one and I thought, no, actually, I don't think this card needs it. So I've got this. I've got this. I've got that Celebrate. Who knows where the other one's gone? Oh, not to worry, we can cut one out in a minute if we need it. Let's put together what we've got and then we'll see what I still need to sort out. I think I've put that one away with the rubbish. No problem. We'll use this bit. I just need one cut out of that, so we'll go ahead. And I can guarantee you, the second I put this through the machine, the other one will go, hello, here I am. And not to worry, I can just go at my little of sentiment, etc. Okay, right, glue. This bit on. That. And then the cover. Okay, and then I'm going to glue. This is a bit that's right up. Roger, look. Oh, never mind. It's those little crafting pixies. They do it to me all the time. So we'll just ignore the one that's come out of the machine. Oh dear. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Okay, so I'm just putting some glue, blotting some glue on the intricate bit. I will find a bit to blot this off on in a moment, because we don't want it bleeding through too much. So I'm going to grab that, just make sure we've got the worst of the glue off. Okay, and then we're going to stick this onto the oval. Now it's exactly the same size, so you could, if you wanted to, just stick it on the side. But I just moved it slightly across so that you can see the oval underneath. And then I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna put something down that I can press on where my inky sticky hands are not contaminating anything. Okay, and then this I have used 3D glue gel to fit onto the front. Okay. Our next job will be to just put a white backing onto that Celebrate so that it stands out. And the final job would be just to show you how to do the book lines at the top. Okay, so that's that. We have maybe we can use that, doesn't really matter. Okay, there we go. So hopefully this it's on here. So it doesn't matter what it is. This is the piece of the paper. So I'm just going to stick this onto there and just going to give it a second to dry. While it's doing that, we're going to stick this one on to the spine. Again, these sentiments could be whatever you want. It could have the person's name if you've got alphabet dies, whatever you fancy, because you can really, really personalise this. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut round this with my scissors, and so that all we see is the white underneath. And the white letters, so there's the letters to stand out against everything else. I'm just literally following the edge of the die cut with my scissors. There. And then okay. And then I've flattened that bit, haven't I? Not to worry. Okay, and the glue gel again with this, because I need a bit on the end so that it sits there with a flap. There we go. So there's that. Okay, now the last thing is to draw on some lines up here to make it look, let me get this one in, look like the pages. And it doesn't need to be accurate, it doesn't need to be straight. All I would say is choose a pencil or pencil, crayon, whatever, that tones in with the colours of your book. Because the first time I did it in grey, ordinary pencil, and it was a little bit clashing. So all I've done is I've gone in my Spectrum Noir colour blend box, and I found this pencil called Maple, which is fairly similar to the colour. So whatever it can be any colour. I wouldn't suggest using pens. I think they're too dark, too bright, and they will bleed. And literally, all you're going to do, you just got to go for it. Because even I'm like, right, literally, you're just drawing lines, and it doesn't matter if they're straight, and it doesn't matter if they go all the way, because if you have a look at the spine of the book, it's not always straight from where it's been opened. So literally, just a few lines, and it just gives that impression but there are some pages there. So there you go. The book fold card, credit to Becky's Place blog, with the absolutely gorgeous Paper Cuts Jasmine Edger die. Thank you for joining me.